Hello everyone and welcome back to another video by EonTalk. As always, I'm your host Ian, and for today's video, I've prepared this year's version of the best K-movies of the first half of the year. This marks the 4th annual Best K-Movies of the First Half of the Year video, and I say this in practically all of the content in this series, but man oh man does time fly by. This time last year, we were still in the post-pandemic stage, and mask mandates were still forced here in Korea. However, things are basically back to normal now, with nearly all restrictions lifted. As my previous 2 videos of upcoming Korean movies of 2023 showed, there are many amazing looking Korean movies upcoming in the latter half of the year. However, before we anticipate what's to come, in today's video, let's take a look back and appreciate the great Korean movies that came out thus far. I'll be going over 10 K-films that came out from January to June of 2023 and ranking them based on my personal preference. I'll just be giving a short synopsis and brief explanation of the movies, and will be refraining from giving a prolonged, detailed review in this video. That being said, let's get right into today's list on K-movies that released this year so far and how good they were. Starting off the list, the number 10 movie of the best K-movies of the first half of 2023 was the Korean film that released in January, The Point Men. Directed by Im Sun-rae, the director of Little Forest and The Whistleblower, The Point Men was an action drama that starred the likes of Hwang Jung-min, Hyun Bin, and Kang Gi-young. The film amassed 1.7 million at the Korean domestic box office, and the synopsis of the movie is as follows. In the foreign country of Afghanistan, Korean nationals are kidnapped by the Taliban, triggering a high-stakes hostage crisis. Diplomat Cheo and NIS agent Tae-sik, with contrasting approaches, unite to save the captives. As the deadline looms and conditions fluctuate, the prospects of successful negotiations become increasingly slim. Moving on to number 9, the number 9 movie is the SF film released on Netflix in January, Changi. Changi was directed by Yeon Sang-ho, the incredible director of Train to Busan. The film had a lineup of the late Kang Soo-yeon, Kim Hyun-ju, and Yoo Kyung-soo, and because the film made an exclusive release on Netflix, there isn't a box office number for the movie. The synopsis of Changi is as follows. In a world devastated by climate change, humanity flees to space, leaving Earth in ruins. Yoon-jung, a legendary mercenary, falls into a vegetative state after a mission failure. Her brain is replicated by a military AI company to create the ultimate AI combat soldier. Years later, Chung's daughter, Yoon So-hyun, leads the Chung project for combat AI development. As their research stagnates, preparations for a new project involving Chung begins, and So-hyun plans a daring escape. At number 8, we have the action flick that released in March, Kill Boxun. Directed by Byun Sung-yeon, who also directed Kingmaker and The Merciless, Kill Boxun was a highly gory and action-packed film starring the likes of Chun Do-yeon, Seo Kyung-gu, and Kim Si-young. This film was also exclusively available on Netflix and thus no box office figure. The synopsis is as follows. MKENT appears to be an ordinary vent company but is actually a front for professional assassins. Boxun, the top-notch killer of MK, is a single mother who decides to quit her lethal job to rebuild her relationship with her daughter. However, her final mission uncovers a dark truth, leading her to defy the company's rules. Now, targeted by MKENT and other assassins, a deadly battle begins where survival becomes the ultimate challenge. Taking the 7th spot, the number 7 film was the action drama that also released in January, Phantom. This film was directed by the director of films such as Believer and The Silenced, Lee Hae-young. The film had a stunning lineup of many familiar faces, including Seo Kyung-gu, Lee Han-hee, Park So-dam, Park Hae-soo, and Seo Yeon-woo. Raking in a total of 664,000 at the box office, the synopsis of the movie is as follows. Set in 1933 during the Japanese colonial era in Seoul, the spy known as Phantom operates undercover for the anti-Japanese organization, Black Shadow. Trapped in a secluded hotel, Phantom must navigate suspicion and mistrust among the suspects while aiming to foil an assassination plot and return safely home. With limited time, the mission's success hangs in the balance. Going into the number 6 spot, the number 6 movie goes to another January released film, Switch. This was the earliest released K-movie of 2023 on this list and was directed by Ma Dae-un, who also directed My Little Brother. Although Switch didn't see the best box office numbers, only amassing about 400k, and although the concept of the film is played out a lot, this comedy flick was a great light watch, enjoyable for people searching for a funny film to watch. The synopsis is as follows. Park Gang, a top-tier actor, lives a glamorous single life but lacks meaningful connections. On Christmas Eve, after a heavy night of drinking with his loyal friend and manager, Jo-yoon, Park Gang wakes up in a strange house to discover 2 unfamiliar children cuddling up to him. To make matters more complicated, his first love, Soo-yeon, bombards him with nagging. What bizarre situation is this? As Park Gang's life turns upside down, a casual remark from a taxi driver the night before comes to mind. If you had the chance to change your choices, what would you do? And now, the top 5 Korean movies of 2023 thus far. But before we get into the top 5, I'd just like to give a quick shout out to ExpressVPN. If you would like to access more Korean content such as K-movies and K-dramas, I highly suggest using ExpressVPN to access thousands of more Korean content. By using ExpressVPN, you can bypass geo restrictions, meaning you can be from anywhere around the world and access the Korean servers. If you would like to access more Korean content, be sure to sign up for ExpressVPN using my link in the descriptions or expressvpn.com/EonTalk and get 49% off an annual plan, plus 3 extra months for free. Better yet, if you sign up and don't like the service, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, meaning you can cancel anytime within the first 30 days. Okay, getting back to the list, which movies ranked the highest on my list of favorite Korean films of the first half of 2023? Let's get right into the top 5. Coming in at number 5 of the best K-movies of the first half of 2023 was the comedic drama that released back in April, Dream. Dream was directed by Lee Byung-hun, whose other great works include Extreme Job and 20, and starred the duo of Park Seo-joon and Lee Ji-eun aka IU. The movie is one of 3 movies that passed the 1 million box office mark, recording 1.12 million, and the synopsis is as follows. Hongdae, a soccer player facing the worst crisis of his career, reluctantly becomes the coach of a homeless football World Cup team. With a passionate yet passionless documentary PD, Soulmate, a group of extraordinary players with torn sneakers, slippers, and loose t-shirts who have never played sports before, Hongdae must form and lead a national team with what resources he has. As their unorthodox teamwork unfolds, they face the challenge of dealing with Soulmate's forced dialogue, contrived situations, and insincere direction. With the World Cup approaching, can they succeed? Sliding into the 4th spot, the 4th movie of Best K-Movies of 2023 goes to the drama film released in March, Soulmate. Soulmate was directed by Min Yong-gun and was a smaller film that didn't have much promotional push. And because of the lack of promotion, the movie only recorded 230k at the box office. Starring Kim Da-mi, Chun So-ni, and Byun Woo-seok, the synopsis is as follows. In 1998, 2 girls first meet at the age of 13 and become friends. In 2004, they found their first love. In 2010, they both became adults. In 2014, they follow back their traces. And now, they paint their longing. Since their first meeting and onwards, for the next 14 years, the 2 girls experience love, jealousy, and personal growth. Taking the bronze medal at number 3, the number 3 movie goes to the K-film that released in February, Unlocked. Directed by Kim Tae-jun, Unlocked was an amazing thriller starring the likes of Chun Woo-yi, Im Si-wan, and Kim Hee-won. Like the number 9 and number 8 films, Unlocked also made its release on Netflix, which in a way is a great way for the international audience to also enjoy K-movies simultaneously with the Korean audience. The synopsis is as follows. Office worker Nami loses her smartphone, which is found by Junyoung, who installs spyware on it. With access to Nami's entire life, he approaches her while hiding his true identity. Meanwhile, Detective Chiman suspects Junyoung's wrongdoings, and Nami's life takes a disastrous turn since losing her phone. Climbing up to the runner-up position, the number 2 film goes to the April-released film, Rebound. The director of Rebound is arguably more famous than some of the cast members, Chang Ang-jun. Director Chang also directed Forgotten and is actually seen more on TV shows nowadays, as he has a very bright and comedic character. The movie starred the actors An Jae-ung, Lee Shin-young, Chung Jin-un, Kim Taek, and more, and recorded about 700K at the Korean box office. The synopsis of Rebound is as follows. Former basketball player Yang Young is appointed as a new coach of the struggling basketball team at Busan Central High School. Despite their past failures, they defy the odds and create a miraculous journey to the national tournament. When everyone claimed the impossible, together they seized the opportunity for a rebound. And finally, the number 1 movie of 2023 so far. The number 1 movie was by far, without a doubt, the sequel to The Outlaws and The Roundup that released in May, The Roundup No Way Out. This film saw its release almost exactly a year after its prequel, The Roundup, on May 31st, and is as action-packed as the first 2 movies. Starring Ma Dong-seok, Lee Jun-hyuk, and Aoki Munetaka, this film recorded the highest box office number of all Korean films at the domestic box office thus far, with a whopping number of 9 million. The synopsis of this crime action film is as follows. 7 years after capturing the perpetrators of a Vietnamese abduction and murder case, Ma Seok-do investigates a new murder case with his team members. During the investigation, he discovers the involvement of a new drug case and expands the scope of the investigation. Meanwhile, the mastermind behind the drug ring, Ju Sung-chul, collaborates with a Japanese organization and Ricky as the scale of the case continues to escalate in Korea. However, Ma Seok-do is determined to wipe out the threat and bring justice. And that's it for today's video on Best Korean Movies of 2023 so far. There were good movies that came out thus far, but I expect there to be more amazing films to release in the remaining months of the year. Please remember that this list was composed based on my personal opinions. If you have differing views, please let me know in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed this video and would like more similar content, be sure to like and subscribe, and be sure to sign up for ExpressVPN using the EonTalk link to access more Korean movies. If you have video requests, please let me know by commenting down below as well. Thank you to everyone that watched till the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one.